close to you. I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you. Give it to me, baby. Feel alright. I feel good. Just walk your step with me, dance with me, here with me.
Bro, Nightwalker, how's it going, guys? How you doing? Nightwalker, are you okay with your title now? If it helps, as it turns out, Milos is not happy with his either, so it feels like everyone is equally miserable, which is good. Sign of a good compromise. Perch. Oh, we're so cooked today, Jesus. One day until peak graces our screens. Hell yeah, boo-boo. I have the timer set up. I can't push it any more than 24 hours. So I'm just waiting until it hits 10, and then we're going to start that at 10 o'clock, baby. Oh, yes, music is very loud. Thank you, Nightwalker. Are you alright? Bug, how's it going, man? How you doing? Close. Do we know when the Dohwa drops? Exact time? I believe so, Booba. I can confirm when if Wind Valley or a username drop by, but I believe it's in almost exactly 24 hours. It's in 24 hours and 10 minutes, I believe. And we should be getting the first 2 episodes together, which is dope as fuck. I don't know why they're dropping 2 episodes at once, but shit, I ain't complaining, you know. Really? Yep. I believe so. Again, I will confirm when one of the experts pops by. That would be username or Wind Valley that I would trust. Perfectly. But it should be, by my calculation, it should be in 24 hours. I just want to ask: will this stream be free too, or will this be? So. This will be members only for the first 48 hours and stuff. As normal. I know I've occasionally been not doing that. With the Donghua coming up, I wanted to just make a little bit more available. But yes, it will. This one will be. At least that was the thought process anyway. Fuck to sleep. Sorry, bud. 781. Let's go. Wait, negative effects. I feel like I already read this, right? Wait, did I already read this? Oh, yes, I did read this. Fuck. Okay. I had 782. Never mind. 782 to 7. We read to see 2 people basically die in 24 hours. Wait, what? Say that again, Bullseye? We read to see 2 people basically die in 24 hours? Wow. Luvian, how's it going, man? How you doing? Okay, that's done. Ramiro, how's it going, man? How you doing? I love that they start the episode with a snippet of the ending fight. I know. Wait, oh, shit. Seriously, Ramiro? Nice. For anyone who's wondering why I'm so excited about that, we're talking about Minecraft, of course. I have the power of America. Leo Sam, how's it going, man? How you doing? fuck? Why is that happening? I don't understand. Why is my chatbot not working? Ugh, my chatbot is not working. Okay. Don't ask me why. Okay, I couldn't fucking tell you. Just fucking, ugh. I love being American. That means I'm better than anyone else. At what? Je t'attends dans mon cœur. Mr. Shark, how's it going? At eating, probably. How's everyone doing this fine morning, noon, night? Holy fuck, you know, who the fuck even knows what it is for everyone. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out if I can find out why my godforsaken fucking chatbot just stopped working. $7 a.m. Jesus. Alright, well, in that case, Kami, why? What did I do to you, bro? You're so mean. Brent's still making his ammo while I already have 2 stacks? Jesus Christ. Well, I have 0 stacks. I went straight to rockets. I just avoided that. You stream when I sleep or when I'm about to sleep, bro? Not my fault. I sleep 12 hours apart. How are you always about to sleep, Kami? What is happening? Okay, fuck this. I'm not getting the Wordle today. Wordle's bad today, okay? Don't ask questions. Okay. I was there last stream, just not talking. How do I know this? Sewing, dressing, suits dressing, enigma. Do you sleep 12 hours a day? No. He don't ask. Okay, just we do not question the great Kami. Lightning McQueen. Around 12 hours, yeah, sometimes more. Sometimes more. Bro, Kami could live to be 100. He would not experience more than 40 years of life. My God. Jesus Christ. Enigma sewing suits McQueen. Stephen Hawking. Hawking McQueen. Nah, I feel that sometimes. Bullseye, bro, you sleep for 12 hours like one day, no problem. Like you were really tired, you know, it's been a long week, no problem. You doing that consistently daily? That's insane. McQueen, Hawking, Matlock, Bojack, Matlock, Goliath. That's crazy. I just wasted all of my guesses. Bro, we're so cooked. I can't. I'm so bad at these days. What is happening? Okay. When taken. Nice. Okay. We just have to wait for 1 more minute, and then I'm gonna start the countdown on screen. Okay. Well, the countdown's not currently on screen, but it will be here. Okay. So just hear me out. I guess since the chatbot's not working, I might as well just add the timer right now. Fuck it. Man, what a chat. A person who sleeps more than 12 hours and a person who only sleeps 3, actually. I know. We truly have... Okay. Alright. 20 seconds, and then it comes out in 24 hours, boys. The Donghua officially is gonna come out in 24 hours and 10 seconds. Holy fuck. How fucking excited are you? Oh my god. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it might be like 2 seconds fast. Maybe a second fast. But it's close. It's like almost spot on, okay? I try to sleep for 6, double of mirror, half of Kami. Yes, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Okay, so 24 hours. No. No. No bullseye. Okay, so this is definitely UN, obviously. 6, 7 members, UN Security Council, very likely. Where would the UN Security Council meet? This could be anywhere. Paris? Let's go Paris. 1956. 45 Cali. Damn. Okay. Great. On that horrific note, we're just going to start reading. Fuck it. How are you playing yesterday's games? Am I playing yesterday's game? What do you mean? I don't know. Okay. 782. Just because the countdown is up, I removed the chapter titles for and numbers for today. So Nightwalker, you have even less to do than you normally do. Good for you. I sleep until someone yells at me to get up or until I want to game early. Okay. On Saturday morning, Klein, who was wearing pajamas, rubbed his head and got out of bed. He didn't sleep well, as different women would inevitably enter his dreams, scaring him awake. He needed to spend several hours to calm his emotions before returning to sleep again. Thankfully, this weakness only lasts 6 hours, and there's no need for me to head out in the middle of the night. I didn't have to face the maids. Klein sighed as he pulled the rope beside his bed. Richardson, who had been waiting outside, immediately entered with the clothes of his employer. I have no idea what Erida said. Richardson seems to be trying to avoid me. Was it the kind of ladies he mentioned he likes? And it also happens to be at odds with how society views it? Klein normally dreams of women. Yes, he just often has wet dreams. Move it to the bottom left or bottom right? I don't... Will it... How's this? But if that's the case, I probably want to change it, right? To a different color? Or does that look okay? I don't know. I should move it to the bottom right. Fuck it. Okay. He didn't use dream divination to obtain the corresponding answer, as he didn't feel like it was necessary. Oh shit, is this a 24-hour stream? No, Booba, no, most certainly the fuck it is not. No, that's just a countdown to when the Donghua comes out. No, we're not doing a 20... Because imagine, if I did a 24-hour stream, I would be so dead tired when the donghua drops. Don't you want me to be like, holy fuck, like, let's fucking go, and be reacting in full force? Otherwise, the donghua is going to come out and go, client looks pretty good. Oh, Captain Dunn's here. His hairline's receding. No, like, fuck that. You don't want that. My god, that's horrifying. That sounds garbage. Get me the fuck out of there. After all, with Richardson's personality, he wouldn't have the courage to take action no matter what. It wouldn't have had any additional effects. Just sleep in the stream. You get to 1K tonight? What do you mean 1K? What are you referencing? After changing into his clothes, Klein headed to the second story and walked to the dining room. Walter was wearing his white gloves as usual, waiting by the entrance. Good morning, sir. You have 2 lessons today. In the evening, you'll be participating in the banquet at Mr. Portland Mamont's place. Portland Mamont lived at 100 Bachland Street. He was a full-time professor at Bachland University's Department of Engineering. A fellow at Lone Kingdom's Imperial Science Institute, as well as discovered a few metal alloys. He received the Light of Machinery Award and was just second to people like Turani von Helmussen in the world of academics. Well, I guess since we just moved that at the bottom, we might as well just have the text up, eh? I forgot what the name of the title is, and I'm too lazy to go up, so we'll just move it to 782 for now, okay? Read my comment. Now you can write the title and chapter number. Don't be lazy. Oh, fuck you. Furthermore, a few metal alloys were widely used in ships and steam engine construction. Just the licensing patent was enough to make him a tycoon with a wealth of hundreds of thousands of pounds. Upon seeing Walter, Klein casually glanced at him, realizing that he had some dark circles. His eye bags were a little puffy, making him look a little different from usual. He hadn't slept well last night. If not for the Faceless's powers, Dantas would probably look this, and Dwayne would likely look the same. Klein retracted his gaze in pity and didn't speak further. Easy started his countdown stream? You're fucking kidding, right? Easy's actual... Dude, Easy's actual... No, he's doing this on purpose. You're kidding.
Hit start 7 a.m. Japan.
You're kidding. He's doing this on purpose, bro. He's doing this on purpose. No. I refuse to believe it. He's doing this on purpose. Time to hear ravings again. Wait. Wait, is Easy live? Hold on. Is Easy going to be live for 24 hours? Can someone ask him? Saturday night? Thanks, Nightwalker. Is Easy going live for 24 hours? I don't... Does anyone know? To be honest, Klein was rather impressed. When is the... It's supposed to be tomorrow at 5, Romero. But I'm curious... No, not 24 hours? Oh. Oh, okay. To be honest, Klein was rather impressed with him. He was able to hold back his fantasies and stop himself from approaching her to seek out pleasure. It's just a timer stream? Oh, I see. Despite frequently meeting a demoness, all he did was have wet dreams that included the target when alone at night. What the fuck did I just read? One had to know that a demoness, especially one who was in the midst of having passed the pleasure sequence, had a charm that far exceeded a Beyonder's effect towards males. Every action was filled with a charm that made any men close to them feel intoxicated. It was like consuming opioids and gradually developing into something more serious, to the point of not being able to extricate oneself from the pleasure given by a demoness. Perhaps only gay men could effectively resist such charms. Dude, that's so smart. Being gay in this universe is actually such an OP power against demonesses. Holy shit. Can you imagine demoness of pleasure comes to you and you're like, nah, bitch, I'd win. Devil, how's it going, man? Just flexing the new stream template? Ah. Of course, Klein suspected that gay men were not immune to it either. What? This was because one's mind and hormones would be affected, creating changes that didn't originally exist. Furthermore, a large number of demonesses were meant to begin with. This lowered one's psychological resistance. You're telling me a gay person would leave a demoness of pleasure and they'd go, damn, am I really gay? Is that what would happen? And precisely because of this, even though he was a sequence 5, Klein had to constantly maintain a high-strung state when facing demonesses like Trissy and Tracy. This is fucked. He was afraid that any mishap might cause him to be charmed, even if he wasn't immune to such an effect, much less like an ordinary person like Butler Walter. This wasn't something that willpower alone could resist. Perhaps, being a result of Prince Edisac's death or her own advancement, Tracy was able to rein in her charms. Walter is only an ordinary person. Even if he is one, at best a sequence 9 or 8, for him to maintain his present state implies how strong his self-restraint is. He's very loyal to the prince, and he loves his wife and daughter. As Klein sighed, he sat down. Today's breakfast was his favorite, Desi pie. The sea late at night was nearly black as it was faintly dyed with a sliver of crimson red. It was calmer and quieter than in the day. Wait, actually, fuck. I just thought of something. I don't know if I'll be able to stream through Crunchyroll. Because I know if you try to share your screen with Crunchyroll, it says, you ain't doing that. So I'm curious if it would do the same when I'm live streaming with OBS. That's a good question. Oh, fuck. Hold on, let me just quickly... Let me just check something. I'm curious. Then sail the seas. Fuck. Yeah, fuck. I think I might have to. Shit, yeah, because I don't think I can just do it regular. I don't think that would work. The sea, late at night, was nearly black as it was faintly dyed with a sliver of crimson red. It was calmer and quieter than in the day. The Blue Avenger was ebbing up and down in the waves like a ghost as it cruised down the crimson moon. It is perfectly reasonable for me to, you see, it's not either you are a woman or you are not in Demoness. I'm not a simp. It's perfectly reasonable to glaze them. No. So wait, is Easy just leaving the stream live for the next 24 hours, basically? Oh, wait, or is he trying to, or is he checking what his thing is gonna look like? When he's doing the reaction. Oh, I see. Okay. The Blue Avenger was ebbing up and down in the waves like a ghost as it cruised towards the crimson moon. Alger Wilson stood up at the bow, looking far away at the waves. On the surface, he appeared steady as usual, but deep down, he could hardly hold back his agitation. Ahead of him was the Abyss maelstrom of the North Sonya Sea. As it was a dangerous vortex that was famous for appearing without any signs, no ship was willing to enter these dangerous waters. After delivering the report and leaving Passu Island, Alger commandeered the Blue Avenger all the way north, where they circled around Sonia Island and headed for this area. Midway, they had docked at the harbor for resupplies without wasting any more time. As for whether he would be suspected of heading north, Alger wasn't worried. This was because the Church of Storm was happy to have its captains head north of the Sonia Sea and the Fog Sea to obtain intel on the Fasak Empire, Intes Kingdom, Church of the EBS, and Church of Combat. Looking back at his ship, Alger walked to deckside, took out a charm made of tin, held it in his palm and chanted, "Storm." A blue flame soared and devoured the charm. Alger suddenly felt a baffling affinity with all the fish in the ocean beneath him. At that instant, both parties were able to communicate at a psychic level. The tin charms were one of the items he obtained from his resupply at Passu Island, allowing him to have an affinity with undersea creatures, providing a crude level of psychic communication with them. Amidst his thoughts, Alger didn't think of obtaining any intel. All he did was wait for the Blue Avenger to approach the Abyss Maelstrom and make a second divination, or make a second attempt. Seconds turned into minutes as Alger, who had nearly failed 100 times, finally learned from a spindle-like fish where the obelisks appeared. If I didn't know that a target is near the Abyss Maelstrom, I would have long given up. It's really difficult to grasp any reliable information through brute force search. Alger concluded as he touched his pocket. Although he had already used up most of his affinity charms, with only 5 left, he had to get another batch of them when he returned. Others must not discover that I've expended all of these. I heard that Rostad Archipelago's resistance has plenty. As Alger was pondering, he changed the direction of the Blue Avenger for the spot he had just learned about. About an hour later, the Blue Avenger stopped. Alger took out a sealed metal bottle. This was the sanguine anesthetic that he had spent 130 pounds to buy from the moon. He had no doubt in regards to its effects because he had used it previously. Good lord, I cannot talk today. I gotta slow down. Fuck. As the Blue Avenger was a ghost ship, it didn't need many men at night. There was only one person every night who was in charge of watching the ship, preventing it from deliberately causing problems or cruising into dangerous waters. As the captain, Alger had arranged himself to be on duty that night without anyone noticing. After he was done with his preparations, he came to the door of the sailors, took out a metallic pipe and opened the bottle. He released the gas into each room, without even sparing the storeroom, which had all kinds of sundry. It was in case certain members of the crew were playing cards in there instead of sleeping. After doing all this, Alger, who wasn't in a rush, brought the ingredients with him, changed into a diving suit that was made of shark skin, and leapt from the starboard into the water, without causing any splashes. Under the dark and calm water, Alger's eyes gradually turned dark blue, allowing him to see his surroundings clearly. I love how Klein in a Sequence 6 can turn into anyone, and Alder is like, I see fish good at nighttime. God, get me the fuck out of here. He breathed in the air with the water comfortably as he arrived in the pitch black deep sea. Then he used the affinity charm once again to communicate with the surrounding fish that were of different shapes and sizes. With the advice from the kind fish, Alger identified his bearings and swam as he asked, finally arriving at what seemed to be like an underwater volcano. The fish didn't seem to know that an obelisk stayed here. They only knew that their own kind and a number of top deep sea hunters would often disappear in the vicinity. With his beyonder powers, Alger looked ahead and saw a huge black cave in the underwater volcano. Tentacles that were thicker than pythons, found in the southern continent's primitive forest, gently flailed outwards. The huge suckers and patterned skin, as well as the cave that was several times the size of Blue Avenger, left Alger apprehensive as he didn't dare approach. An obelisk is at least a Sequence 5. Furthermore, it has a terrifying body. I can confirm that it's my target. Alger carefully swam over and stopped at a distance from the threat. After careful identification, he used the affinity charm once again. It allowed him to pass through the water and reach the cave in an attempt to communicate with the powerful psyche force that was huddled inside. The massive psyche slowly relaxed as countless thoughts were released. It was taken aback for a moment before its psyche suddenly erupted like a volcano. Amidst a terrifying sound, the cave produced a ludicrous vortex that sucked in the surrounding water, trash, as well as Alger. It's filled with animosity. Alger's eyes constricted as his body turned slippery as he was driven by formless wind backwards in an attempt to escape. He used several Beyonder powers before escaping the influence of the vortex. He didn't dare stay near the undersea volcano, and he quickly surfaced. Almost a minute later, Alger, who had escaped the dangerous area, spat out bubbles as he heaved a sigh of relief. Does it hate items with the Lord's aura? After some thought, Alger, who didn't wish to waste this opportunity, steeled his resolve and began to pray. The fool that doesn't belong to this era. I love how this is so good. Like, this is such a fucking cheat code to have. No matter who you are, what fucking pathway you are, you can't pray to a god and get this level of quick respite. But with the fool, you're like, bro, shit hits the fan. I know who to call, okay? We call my boy. He answers every time. I pay him some monies, yes, but he responds quick, okay? When he heard the illusory pleas, Klein was attending a banquet at Portland Mamont's place due to the time difference. Easy badooning his countdown? What do you mean? It ain't working. Bro can't get the countdown to work. I was thinking if a beast what I assume that's what it's supposed to say, drinks beast tamer, who will it tame? Others of its kind. Won't that mean the pathways? Oh, sorry, Romero. Sorry, bro. I can't. I thought it was safe to read my own mod. Okay, apologies on that one. When he heard the illusory pleas, Klein was attending a banquet at Portland Mamont's place due to the time difference. The banquet began from 7:30 as it continued all the way to 9:30. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me just... By the way, am I losing it? Or... Are we able to use whatever fucking image Easy's using? Because I feel like I used that one in a video a long time ago and you guys told me that was spoilery and not to use that again. Are we allowed to use that now? Or is that still spoilers and he just used it without asking you guys? No. The banquet began from 7:30 and it continued all the way to 9:30 and even 10. This was because the appetizers, soups, side dishes, main dishes, staple foods, vegetables, fruits, and desserts had numbered a total of 10 to 20 dishes. The footmen would serve the dish one after another, removing and changing dishes in unison to prevent the dining table from turning chaotic, and also providing an interval between the dishes in order to allow the guests to chat. Gentlemen would take the initiative to talk to the ladies on their right. Was my question wrong? I don't know. I only got like halfway through it, Nightwalker, and then it got deleted, so I don't know. In short, it's rather troublesome and exhausting. I even have to take note of which of these dish matches with which alcohol. However, it's quite tasty. Taking the opportunity when the roasted lamb was switched out, he said to Ma'am Willis, "Apologies, I need to use the restroom." He got up, pressing his right hand to his chest, bending over slightly as a gesture. He then left the dining hall and headed for the washroom on the second story. Upon entering, he locked the door and went above the grey fog. The hanged man, he wishes for me to obtain the goodwill of the Obenesque, and he's willing to find 15 pages of Roselle's diary, or do something of equal value. His progress isn't slow. After pondering for a few seconds, Klein replied, "Investigate all FASAC captains who participated in Conatop Sea Battle in 1338. As a historian, Klein knew which sea battle it was when he learned that the interrogator had died at the hands of someone from Fasak in 1338. In 1338, the relationship between Lone and Fasak was tense, with occasional conflicts. However, there were only one battle that resulted in the death of someone at the level of a commander. It was a sea battle in East Balam's Conatop, and on the Fasak fleet there were definitely not many captains. In the deep sea waters, Alger Wilson saw the endless grey fog. "Your wish is my wish," he said without hesitation. Such a mission was difficult and very complicated for him, but it wasn't dangerous. It was something that the present him could accept. After the response, Alger heard the fool's voice again. "You can return to the target vicinity." "That's it?" As expected of the fool, he's more like a sea god than Kalvatua. His might isn't limited to the Rorstad archipelago. Klein was delighted as he thanked the fool. Bending his back and kicking his legs, he dived down once again. In just minutes, he returned beside the undersea volcano. Although Alger trusted the fool in being sufficiently powerful and terrifying, he was still cautious of the giant monster. He carefully inched forward. He suspected that the obelisk's flailing of its countless tentacles was a sign of it welcoming him. At this moment, above the grey fog, the sea god scepter-wielding Klein frowned. It refuses to communicate with the sea god, and it even hates the feeling, making it unwilling to show goodwill. His influence on the surrounding waters through his prey had failed. For some reason, the obelisk strangely resisted beyond her powers that promoted an affinity with sea creatures. So is an obelisk not... so an obelisk doesn't fall under the domain of the sailor pathway then? It falls under another domain? Because otherwise, why would it be able to resist? There's no way it can resist a fucking sequence 3. Through the prayer scene, he could see the thick tentacles thrashing about, and he vaguely sensed that the target was infuriated. It was trying to rip apart all living beings that dared approach it. The hanged man has gone over. He's going over. Klein's mouth twitched as he changed his approach. He raised the sea god scepter a little higher, allowing the blue gems at the top to light up one after another. Right on the heels of that, he directed a violent aura of lightning storm, casting it on the obelisk. The thick tentacles that thrashed about at the bottom of the sea suddenly froze before falling down. They clung close to the seabed as the countless green spots of light appeared in the dark cave. Amidst a jarring rumbling, a terrifying monster that could devour a sailboat crawled out. Its patterned black body was massive and distorted. It had a total of 3 heads, and each head was more than a dozen eyes. Each of them was emitting a green light. The monster then prostrated, appearing as obedient as a trained hound. Indeed, tricks are needed in communication. Oh, it literally just didn't believe the sea god, that power was strong enough to make him bend until he saw some more power, and he was like, "Alright, my bad, you're kinda goated." Klein nodded in satisfaction and once again used the Beyonder affinity to make the obelisk open its mouth of its 3 heads via psychic connection. This made Alger instantly see 3 dark caves, each of them large enough to provide a sailboat passage. Praise to the fool. Alger looked at the magnificent scene before him as he couldn't help but mutter inwardly. He didn't waste any time, as he chose the middle head by quickly swimming towards it. A spiraled and warped passage quickly appeared in Alger's vision, as the walls were made of flesh, and the width was comparable to the bow of the Blue Avenger. Water flowed into the passage, heading right for the deep depths. Alger took the opportunity to let his body go with the flow. Suddenly, he felt as though he was back as a sailor, engaging in combat amidst waves, being tossed around. By the time Alger used his Beyonder powers and got a hold of himself, he had already left the tunnel of flesh. He was in a dark, spacious world with a sticky sensation by his feet. There was a putrid stench everywhere. In just a second, Alger realized that the liquid inside was corroding him. He hurriedly produced a water membrane. He made it swell into a transparent sphere. He knew that he was already inside the obelisk's stomach. Without any hesitation, he took out all the bottles he had long prepared and began concocting the potion. As the supplementary ingredients were thrown into the wide-mouthed metal bottle, they mixed into a dark blue liquid. Following that, Alger threw in a jellyfish that enveloped azure blue seawater. The distant and ethereal singing grew in intensity before calming down. In the bottle, there weren't any ripples or bubbles. The liquid was dark, just like the ocean before a storm. Alger calmed down, entered cogitation, and picked up the metal bottle before cleanly downing the ocean songster potion inside. So if a dog drinks Beast Tamer... Okay, I'll just let Romero check first. And the liquid was cold as it brought about a numbness that slid down his gullet into his stomach. It then spread throughout his body at unimaginable speeds. At that instant, Alger vaguely heard countless voices that came from all life at sea, but the obelisk body blocked most of it, leaving it a relatively screened-out version. Oh, so the obelisk is literally there to prevent you from hearing everything? Otherwise, you would hear all the sea creatures and you just go insane immediately. But the obelisks, but the obelisk blocks most of it, so you hear like a lot, but you hear a lot less than you would, so you're probably okay. So if a dog drinks Beast Tamer, can it tame other dogs? Won't that be equivalent to taming humans? Yes and no. Would they be able to tame other dogs if they can digest the potion without losing control? Probably. Is it the same as a human taming a human? No. Or maybe. It just depends on how you, if you grant humans some other, like, value that they don't grant to other animals. That's like a valuation that, you know, everyone does for themselves. Like, do you think humans are intrinsically special by virtue of the fact that they're humans? Maybe. I mean, I do, but I mean, not everyone does, so. Alger felt his heart beating violently as it spewed blood outwards. His spirituality and the sound waves began to remold his voice and soul. He couldn't help as he opened his mouth, letting out a long sigh. Amidst the sigh, Alger felt his spirit body being ripped slightly. As the sound waves spread outwards, they first turned into the mottled scales on his skin, before pulling out the long flesh tendrils that appeared like flailing tentacles. What's the definition of beast? Intelligence is definitely not, or spectator animals won't get tame. If a dog was a beast tamer, it would only tame things it considers beasts. You think so? You think you can only tame things that you think are beasts? So then why would that apothecary look at Susie, and why would Susie get scared? Why would Susie be considered a beast? Susie's a fucking trained hound of a Earl family. Like, she's an adorable dog. No one would look at that and go, oh my god, it's a beast. The sound waves continued spreading outwards as the spirit body fragments making contact with the sticky liquid within the obelisk's stomach, and they magically bounced back, infusing Alger's body once again. Alger, who was on the brink of losing control, instantly felt better as he seized the opportunity. Without any fear of embarrassing himself, he began singing loudly in a bid to vent the invisible sound waves that would blast his body apart. Rough, messy, off-tune singing filled with a metallic quality spread outwards, wave after wave, mixing with numerous spirit body fragments before bouncing back on the obelisk's sticky stomach walls. In this process, Alger was like an ingredient that was being baked in sound waves. Finally, he regained control of his body. At last, Alger closed his eyes as a smile couldn't help but appear on his face. He had completed the first goal he had for all these years, advance to Ocean Songster. I've gained superficial control of lightning, gaining a more all-rounded underwater mobility, as well as the ability to sing to affect targets. The latter ability is different because of everyone's uniqueness. So a beast tamer dog is the nemesis of Beyonder. To humans, all other creatures are beasts subconsciously? Okay. One of them is to use beautiful singing to disrupt an enemy spirit body, but Alger can't sing beautifully, so can he still do that? Causing him to turn adrift and fall into a daze. Another is to raise one's explosive strength. Another is to simulate a thunderous boom to leave others in awe. Another one is to use chaotic and unpleasant singing to leave the enemy frustrated, causing them to lose their rationality. Alger inspected himself as his expression turned odd. I'm just going to add that to Ocean Songster really quick. Give me a second. You know, I'm thinking we might skip tomorrow. We might not do a stream tomorrow, just to build up a little bit of quiet before we do all the streams, all the goddamn streams. Because starting from the day after, it's gonna be constant go time. So I'm adding occultism and blood magic. Did we not already have blood magic, Devil? I mean, if we didn't, feel free. He soon put his thoughts away, picked up his items, and swam towards the obelisk's mouth before gently tapping on the already closed mouth. The mouth slowly opened as it roared, spewing out everything in its mouth. Alger instantly felt as though he was in mid-air as he nearly collided with a shark. After a series of actions, he surfaced and swam towards his ship. Only after the ghost ship's outlines reflected in his eyes did he dare to relax. Alger was worried that something out of the ordinary would happen to the ship while he was advancing. Although an hour or two wasn't a huge problem, there were always surprises in this world. After receiving the Hanged Man's gratitude again, Klein returned to the real world, washed, and dried his hands before leaving the washroom. And as the fragrance of the food inundated his olfactory senses again, he drew a deep breath and returned to his seat. At this point, it was time for dessert. From the looks of it, I stayed in the bathroom too long. I hope that after today, there won't be talks about Dwayne having constipation. Klein muttered to himself as he smiled at Ma'am Willis and said, "When I was young, I ate all kinds of strange foods in the southern continent. One of them was called Tennant Tree Plums. They taste like bland butter, just like these desserts." He euphemistically explained the reason for his delay by implying that he had weakened his stomach from his younger days. Is that what happened? Oh god, oh no. Oh no. Eridas really fucked up our boy. This title really gives it away. Damn, Eridas really cooked our boys. Oh, what are we supposed to do with them? One more fucking day, boys. Let's go. Ma'am Willis glanced at Dwayne and said with a smile, "Your past and your experiences are more interesting than any novel I've read. It makes me feel like I'm having similar experiences of my own." Of course, they're just real life stories that have been tweaked. It's all thanks to Anderson, a hunter that goes everywhere. Klein chuckled. It's because those are the only interesting ones. There are many I'd rather not be reminded of. After that simple statement, he began enjoying his dessert. However, Ma'am Willis and other ladies heard that, like they were reminded of a best-selling novel. A man with a story. To them, Dwayne was such a man. He looked like a placid lake that was more deep down. Hidden there were more pleasant surprises and plenty of pain. The banquet ended at 20 minutes to 10. A number of gentlemen and ladies went to the card room to play 2 hours of Texas Hold'em, while the remaining men headed for the activity room to have a chat. They didn't bar women from joining, as it was inevitable for them to broach on sexual matters while smoking. No women joined them. They either circled a piano at the first story and listened to and sang along with the performer, or grouped up to play chess. How the fuck do you group up to play chess? I feel like 2 people play chess. What is the other people in the group doing? Klein chose to head to the activity room on the 2nd floor. Private conversations with a few people had helped him speed up his admission into the circles. After sitting down, he went straight for a window to open them. Just as he did this, he saw the banquet host, Portland Maman, laugh with a pipe in his hand. Men often need some place for themselves. Commentary is needed. Cheering them? Bro, have you never played chess, Nightwalker? What do you mean cheering them? You think I'm gonna do rook to c6 and someone's gonna go, oh my god, rook to c6, what a fucking legend. You think that's what I want when I'm playing chess? His face was sonorous, and he had a big build. Men often need space for themselves. He was an elder in his 60s with a ruddy complexion and rather thick hair, despite being all white. Gotham chess, and he sacrifices the rook! That is still not how you spell it. Yes, men have to take note of their image while the ladies are around. We have to be considerate of their thoughts. I've already wanted to kiss this an hour ago. Hazel's father, Member of Parliament Macht, took out a gorgeous silver box, taking out a cigar. The other men in the activity room did the same as pipes or cigarettes appeared in their hands. As the flames flickered, wisps of smoke began to blow. After enjoying it for a few seconds, Portland Maman looked to his guest and said, "Dwayne, do you not smoke?" Klein clenched his fist and placed it to his mouth. I have yet to recover. The doctor advised me not to smoke for the time being. To be frank, he was almost choking. Thankfully, he had smartly chosen a seat by the window. This group smokes like chimneys. I was going to write that, but I have to change because you said it. He had the urge to use the beyonder powers of a magician to create an invisible air pipe that extended outwards to draw fresh air, to escape the harm of secondhand smoke, but considering how there might be other beyonders hiding amongst them, he gave up on the idea. Oh, Easy is doing a 24-hour stream? If he is, I mean, I'm going to sleep now, but if he wants to, if he's still, if he's live in the morning when I'm awake and he's up, maybe we can just do our chat in the morning. He is insane. I don't have that in me. Portland Maman laughed upon hearing that. I heard from Bishop Electra that it's not without reason that you were sick. You lack a wife. This professor was a believer of the god of steam and machinery, but his wife was a believer of the goddess. Therefore, they had taken up a residence at Balkland Street near St. Samuel Cathedral. He often had bishops visiting him. Is he mocking me for talking about women despite being sick? I really couldn't tell that Bishop Electra is actually a man who likes to gossip. I place great importance on marriage. I'd rather remain single if there is no one suitable. At this moment, the high-ranking employee of Backland Municipal Office, Mr. Willis, spewed out smoke and said, "Actually, I envy Dwayne's single status. It allows him to pursue any kind of woman that he likes." He said, "This man be whoring. This man is a whore." He deliberately enunciated any kind, causing ambiguous laughter. The matter of Dwayne's wide preference and him never rejecting charming women has already spread this street. Klein held back his right hand to prevent himself from subconsciously rubbing his temples. He felt that the deep, dignified, handsome new tycoon's image would be undergoing a subtle change. He suspected that it was a loudmouth Bishop Electra that spread the news, but later believed it was Butler Walter who had proactively gotten the servants to spread the gossip. This was because a nearly flawless, charming gentleman would often be unknowingly ostracized by members of the same sex in a circle, but when a blemish surfaced, such a topic could be used in jest. It made it easier for him to build closer ties. Klein wasn't angry about such treatment. Instead, he deliberately gave a wry smile in a gentlemanly manner. That's why I have rather difficulty choosing, causing me to remain single to this day. Portland Mama and company laughed out in unison. Klein doesn't discriminate. He's like, yeah. He's like, no matter who you are, young, old, married, unmarried, divorced, it's all the same to me. From the looks of it, no matter which world you're in, you can't escape the fate of being pressured into marriage, Klein nodded. Jesus Christ, Romero, no, not that. He glanced out the window, taking in the night scenery of Portland Maman's garden. At this moment, he saw a figure. It was Hazel Macht, dressed in a black-green gown, following a trail going deeper into the garden, pausing from time to time to look around as though she was looking for something. Wasn't this lady playing the piano just now? Why is she in the garden? When guests attend banquets or balls, leaving the hall to head to the garden isn't something impolite. After all, it's a very stylish habit to take a stroll under the moon and take in the flowery aromas and the night winds. Who's Hazel's rendezvousing with? Romero is making such uncivilized comments. Do you want to be Nightwalker, lust and envy filled Nightwalker? Is that No, it doesn't seem like it. No one that came today is truly her equal. Although she doesn't appear arrogant after the fright she suffered in the sewers, making her occasionally look depressed, she still seems to belittle ordinary people. She's dealing with negative effects of the mystical item. That doesn't make any sense. Entering a lounge or a washroom would be better than a garden since there's more privacy. Furthermore, back at the ball, held at her place, she also went to the third story and not the garden. From the way Hazel is trying to sense or find something, she seems to have noticed some abnormality and plans to observe and deal with it up close. Does this mean there's some paranormal activity happening? But if that's true, this professor or someone in his family isn't simple at all. The bishops of the St. Samuel Cathedral haven't realized anything despite visiting them often. Just name me Collector of Sin at this point. What's next? Pride, Sloth? Well, that's up to you, Nightwalker, man. If you make your bed, you're gonna have to lie in it. A marauder's senses and observation in certain areas definitely stand out. Klein didn't have any thoughts of intervening. After all, something that Hazel could sense was definitely nothing too dangerous. Besides, St. Samuel Cathedral was nearby. If there were any hidden secrets, no one would dare to attempt matters, and would instead try to lay low. At this moment, Macht calmed down from an untasteful joke and looked at Portland Mama. I heard you'll be leaving the university? That's right. The Higher Education Commission wishes that I become a chancellor of the reorganized Backland University of Technology. Although a large amount of my wealth comes from metal alloys, what I'm best at is mechanical engineering. They've promised to build me a better laboratory and provide me with more funding. At my age, having more autonomy and helpers is most important. And Backland University will have a full-time professor spot open up. Those senior associate professors have been waiting for decades and can finally have a chance. In Lowen's tertiary education system, full-time professors weren't just a title, but a post. It was equivalent to a dean, so there was only one. That's crazy. Backland University of Technology. Klein smiled, keeping silent on matters he didn't know about. That's where Melissa wants to study, right? In the garden, Hazel arrived in a dark and secluded corner. She discovered that ants and other insects on the ground were gathering in an abnormal manner, and her spiritual intuition told her something was hidden here. This was innate to her sequence, and it had never failed. Without any additional help, she could choose the previous items hidden amongst the several sealed boxes. Of course, she wasn't able to distinguish what it was exactly. All she knew was that compared to the rest, what her spiritual intuition told her was definitely more valuable. Something like Dwayne Dantes. He definitely has some precious items on him. Hazel curled the corners of her lips as she cast her gaze at the soil. She sensed that the copious amounts of spirituality were gathered underneath. It's not a human body. It's some spiritually equipped materials that have been used. They should have been thrown away in batches, but they were instead buried together, causing unnecessary change. Hazel's eyes turned darker as she interpreted the situation underground based on the hidden spirituality traits. She tipped her chin and looked at the building. She believed that Portland Mamont's family had at least one person with beyond her powers. And if this problem in the garden wasn't resolved, the nearby houses would have paranormal activity in the coming days. Hazel retracted her gaze, extending her left hand and aimed it at the soil. With a gentle grip, she twisted her wrist. This gathered spirituality vanished as though it had been stolen by someone. The Marauder pathway seems like dope as fuck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a thieving guy, but if you give me the power to pull off some crazy Ocean 11's heists? It was Ocean 11 the first one? I can never remember. I think Ocean 11's was the first one. I'm gonna take it, okay? Hello, that's a sequence. Police, he's the guy? Bro, why you gotta rat me out? What the fuck? Ooh, Tracy discovered something. Did I use the... I think I used the wrong one. Mr. Lustbound is trying to act tough. What do you mean he's trying to act tough? He's so chicken shit. He's like, oh, please, there's actually someone who's thinking of committing a crime. Can we have a chat with him? Get the fuck out of here. 100 Bachland Street, in the corner of the garden in Portland Mamont's residence. The many ants and worms that were gathered together slowly dispersed. The person with beyond her powers likely doesn't have any experience. With her goal achieved, Hazel nodded indiscernibly before turning around briskly and strolling through the garden. After a while, Hazel stopped her stroll and left the garden, entering the hall. At this moment, apart from the guests still playing poker, many ladies and gentlemen had bid farewell. Moments after Hazel found her mother, Ma'am Rihanna, she saw her father, Macht, and a few other gentlemen walking down as they conversed. Are you ready to head home? You have to visit a very important guest tomorrow. As Rihanna gestured for her daughter to come close, she walked towards her husband and greeted the others with a smile. Macht nodded and said, I would have loved to try another of Portland's cigars, if not for that matter. Rihanna swept her gaze at Willis, Dwayne Dantes and company and said, Gentlemen, what are you talking about? It sounds interesting. Macht turned his body to his side and said Dwayne said that he encountered ghosts while in the southern continent. He and his companions woke up in the middle of the night and found themselves unable to open their eyes. Their bodies were heavy, as though someone was pressing on them. They used a great deal of strength before escaping such a state and leaving their beds. However, they discovered their rooms were extremely cold. You might not know this, but East Balam's weather is hot most of the time. And that sounds crazy, right? Am I crazy to say, like, how stupid do you think your daughter has to be for her not to know that East Balam's weather is hot most of the time? That's like if Nightwalker was telling me a story, and he was like, Like I thought there was like a ghost in my room. Like I tried to get up, but it was like I just couldn't move, and like my room was so cold when I eventually got up. And I was like, oh, Ramiro, you might not know this, but like the weather in India is actually hot most of the time. Be like, yeah, no shit, dumb fuck. Who doesn't know this? I feel like he has really low expectations of his daughter. Then Dwayne and his companions each held double-barreled hunting rifles and stood guard the entire night. They frantically left the town after the sun rose. After hearing that, Mariana looked at Dwayne Dantes with piqued interest. Is that true? Do ghosts exist? That I'm not sure of, Klein said with a smile. Perhaps my companion and I just experienced a harrowing adventure, and our bodies and minds weren't in the best of conditions. That could have been the result. Or that could have been the cause of our problems. Love how Lustbound is the example. Well, I couldn't think of anyone else from India off the top of my head, so I went with Nightwalker. The stories he told were sources from Anderson's experience back when the strongest hunter of the Fog Sea was exploring a temple in the primitive forest. He chanced upon a specter, causing a large-scale breakout overnight. Ghosts. Hazel turned her head to look at the garden as the corners of her mouth curved up before she held back. She didn't say a word as she quietly listened to her parents bidding farewell before returning home. Late at night, Hazel, who had changed into a sleeping gown, walked to the balcony and stood behind a gap in the curtains. She looked towards the sewer manhole on Balkland Street. About the ending song release? What now? Wait, is the ending song oh shit. Okay. With the visuals or just the song, Romero? Or Luvian? I don't know. Anyone who knows, really. Just as she looked at it, her face turned gradually pale as though she had recalled an experience filled with pain and horror. Hold on. I'm gonna go buy some bread. Don't talk behind my back. Of course, Nightwalker. We wouldn't do that. Visuals? Nice. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch the ending sequence of Lord of the Mysteries. Show me how many spoilers you can pack into a minute 25. Hopefully all of them. Spoil everything. Bucket. That's definitely copyright. Yeah, no worries. Bucket. That's what I imagined anyway. Let's go, baby. Holy shit. Do you see how well this is? Oh my. I know this is in 4K. So I knew it was going to look good. Do you see this? Hold on. Are these the 22 pathways? Is that what this is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm at 19. That is insane, right? Oh, they're definitely different pathways, but I'm missing a couple because it's different. Like that's the full pathway for sure. That one I know. There's other ones that I don't fucking know what all these are. That is incredible. Tree of Sephiroth? What the fuck is Sephiroth? Do I know this? Hold on. Sorry. Just go back a quick second. Wow. Burn my broken chest. Alger and Audrey. Oh yeah, this is definitely copyrighted for sure. Ah. To be free in mist, to hold a cup of light. I would assume mist. Maybe all in English. That is actually kind of nuts, eh? To be free in mist, to be free above the grey fog. To hold a cup of light. A cup of light might refer to like a brighter future, maybe. Like once you arrived above the grey fog, you were free and you now had a much more brighter future. You had ability to become much stronger and capable than you would have previously, maybe. I'm Where are the flames that come in fury? Where are the flames that come in fury? I don't know what that would refer to exactly. The only flames I can think of in fury I'm thinking maybe EBS in some sense. I don't know. I don't have a great theory on this one. I'm thinking like when Klein tried to do that divination on the EBS charm that had his blood in it, and he just fucking raged at him and it like fucking set him ablaze. Self-combustion? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Where are the keys that carve truth from me? I think keys in this case is metaphorical. I don't think it's referring to any actual keys, but it's like referring to what's keeping the truth from me. Carve truth from me. Carve truth from me, not keep it from me. That's interesting. Maybe it's like ability to find more about myself. This I'm thinking more is like the Hornacis Flagrea thing that we keep hearing every time Klein advances. Like something about the Hornacis mountain range, something about Flagrea. I don't know. To the dark, to dream and scream my name. So delving into the depths of darkness, delving into the depths of the unknown to claim my place as hopefully as a true god or something. This is, I assume, the Indigenous Family Notebook. My name. Wonder or dismay. Oh, I see. Okay. So like it's the whole ignorance is bliss sort of thing, right? So like as you seek for knowledge, you also run into an unbelievable amount of horror, because as you're doing that, you're constantly like running into like, holy shit, like I'm running into all sorts of horrifying truths that I don't know how to deal with. Like, a wonder and dismay are different sides of the same coin, basically. I'm watching at 144 because with fragile light, fuck me. I vow to guard a world I stay. Wow, that's okay. That's really cool. That's like Klein saying, even though this world is not my own, I will guard this world with my life. He's like, Benson and Melissa may not actually be my siblings. Anyone from this world might not be actually my people, but I am what guards them from the darkness. I will guard them towards from horrifying bullshit like in Zongwil. Stirring or delay. So whether you're standing in one spot trying to find a better solution, or you're just delaying to again, different sides of the same coin. Coin again is like a metaphor for like divination and stuff, because it's like, a divination, pass or fail, or success or fail, or that sort of thing. Rebirth or be the same thing. You can either eventually, like, you work on yourself and you change, or you just say like, hey, this is who I am, this is who I'm gonna be. Either way, you have to make a sacrifice, and you have to just choose which one you can live with more, I guess. with whispers in gray. This is, I assume, the same gray whispers that Klein is hearing. Hornacis, Flagrea, the palace, whatever that he's seeing. Guide my shadow away. Guide my shadow away. Guide my dark path. Like I walk, like basically saying like I walk this dark path all by myself. Help guide me. Wow, that palace looks beautiful. The warm color theme is really cool too. The palace looks beautiful. Oh my god. That looks amazing. That looks amazing. The tarot cards. That's actually peak as fuck. Holy shit. That's so peak. That is so peak. At the end, I assume that's the Fool. I didn't quite catch that right at the end. The Fool. That is actually so dope. What the fuck? Hold the fucking phone, bro. That looks so good. That looks unbelievable. Hold the fucking phone. That looks so good. Okay, sorry, oh my god, that looks so good, dude. Yeah, I know. Sorry, that looked so good. I just wanted to take a second to admire that. I apologize. Fuck, that looks so good. Wow, this tarot card looks so good, dude. This tarot card, the whole thing, the OP, the ending being in, the ending being in English, not something I expected. I know, I think Link Clicks was also in English, so there was like a part of me that thought like maybe it's possible, but I didn't expect it. That's really good, dude. That's so peak. That is so peak. Actually, what the fuck? Oh god. This is gonna be so good. Oh guys, we're in for some really cool stuff, man. We're in for some really cool stuff. Okay. On that note, I think we'll just finish this chapter and then we'll just call it here. Then fuck it. Because then I need to edit this. Video. Fuck, and I hope we get done backstory. Did we even get Dun's backstory in the thing? No 23-hour stream? Yeah, no, none of that. None of that. We don't do that here. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking though, but no, we don't do that. And by the way, a side story for Lord of the Mysteries Nighthawks releasing tomorrow too? Wait, you're telling me there's 2 episodes and a side story releasing tomorrow? That's what you're telling me. You are out of your fucking mind. They're releasing an hour and a half worth of content tomorrow? Oh, God. Oh, God. Gentlemen, start your engines. Oh, my fucking God. No. No, it's reading text, I think. Oh, it's text. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. Either way. Either way. Either way. That's great, too. Okay. Okay, hold on. Late at night, Hazel, who had changed into a sleeping gown, walked to the balcony and stood behind the gap in the curtains. She looked towards the sewer manhole on the street. As she looked at it, her face gradually turned pale, as though she had recalled an experience filled with pain and horror. She forced herself to retract her gaze, took two deep breaths, and turned around to walk to her bedside. During this process, she gently bit on her lip and muttered, "This was likely a wraith, definitely. I need items or charms in the sun domain." With Hazel looking at the manhole, Klein was doing the same. "It's been days. I wonder how well Trissy has recovered and whether she has left or not. Thankfully, after Hazel was given a scare, she hasn't dared to approach the manhole." Klein's gaze swept the iron-black street lamp as he nodded slightly. He opened the iron cigar case and made his wraith marionette appear with a full-body mirror. He had already decided to send Senor down to the sewers to check on the area to confirm Trissy's condition. He didn't want the demoness to cause any more trouble. Furthermore, the sewers were just physically too close to his identity as Dwayne. Klein didn't wish for Trissy to be in the vicinity any longer, wishing that she could recover and soon take action. That would prompt her to leave Bachland Street. Having Admiral of Blood Senor appear once in a while would fill the character setting I previously created. It doesn't live nearby, and with the sewers containing a secret, it often wanders in search of it. As Klein was thinking, he made the marionette in the ancient triangular hat leap onto the street surface before passing through the manhole cover in a wraith form, and quickly approaching where Trissy hid. Before reaching the end, Senor, who had night vision, could see that the area was empty. She has already recovered and left. He discovered that the place was tidied up. Not only was the ground not moist and muddy, even the moss on the walls had vanished. There isn't any leftover food either. That fellow became a germaphobe after becoming a woman? No, perhaps he was like that to begin with. With Senor's vision, Klein surveyed the area and determined either Trissy hadn't left or she hadn't left for more than a day. Otherwise, it was difficult to maintain the cleanliness of this place. Just as this thought flashed through his mind, light footsteps entered the wraith's ears. Klein retracted his gaze and wasn't surprised to see Trissy in her black dress. This demoness with luscious black hair cascading down. Unlike peers her age who had different hairstyles, it was simple and neat, matched with her pale face that had just recovered some of its ruddiness. Trissy looked like a dreamy flower that was silently blooming at night. Klein lampooned as he looked at Trissy. "Where did you go? Would you like to relieve yourself where you sleep?" Trissy asked. "I thought a demoness would need to use a bathroom." Klein gave a self-deprecating comment and made the Senor chuckle. "Are you referring to pissing or shitting?" He had deliberately made the marionette say such a word, as it matched the Admiral of Blood's persona. Trissy frowned. "Is there anything else?" Senor didn't continue on the topic as he said, "You look like you've almost recovered." "Not bad. I'll be leaving tomorrow." "To be frank, I doubt whether you're the real Admiral of Blood sometimes." "Why do you say that?" It's said that the Admiral of Blood is someone who indulges in his desires, and he has no resistance towards beautiful women and men. Yet I don't see any spark of desire when you face me. Bro evading copyright strikes by stopping every 2 seconds? Hell yeah. It's called fair use, baby. Fair use, okay? Klein deliberated for 2 seconds and made the Senor laugh. "I'm afraid of finding myself lost to pleasure and being controlled by you." Trissy's expression instantly changed. To a demoness of pleasures, beyonders who habitually indulged in their desires were their natural prey. Klein actively ignored the topic and asked, "So you're seeking out the target tomorrow?" Very clearly, the Royal Guard captain knows what you look like. "Rest at ease. I have the perfect plan," Tracy said. "If you set off from here, at the end of the sixth left fork is a hidden passage. It has signs of prolonged human activity. I discovered it while walking around in the past few days. I believe it has something to do with that girl, right? It's also the reason why you're here?" Hidden passage. Klein didn't confirm or denies. He made the seigneur smile. "Did you discover anything?" "No, there was nothing at all. Perhaps only a certain pathway or someone with a specific item can find the clues." A marauder's intuition? Something on Hazel's person? Klein didn't make Seigneur continue on the topic as he pressed his hand. "Since you've recovered, I can be at ease." At the moment he said that, he vanished. Tracy focused her eyes into a stare, but it was to no avail. Only when the invisible thread she had released was hit by a breeze did she retract her gaze, confirming that the Admiral had left. At that moment, Klein had brought the Wraith back to the manhole without attempting to explore the spot that Tracy mentioned. There were three reasons for his decision. First, it exceeded 100 meters. Second, he suspected he couldn't find anything since he wasn't of the Marauder pathway, nor did he have the corresponding item. Third, Tracy was still around. Fours woke up naturally on Sunday morning as she got up to wash. She chewed on a fresh piece of toast, retrieved a stack of items from the mail. She walked to the coffee table with a cup on it. She casually flipped through the items and discovered a letter she had been looking forward to. Throwing down the paper, bills, and other letters, Forrest tore open the envelope. "The teacher is already in Backland?" Forrest quickly read through the letter as she muttered in surprise. At the same time, she saw the toast in her mouth plunge to the ground. Okay. So I had originally planned on reading 2 more chapters. That was the plan, okay? But you know what they say? Man makes plans and God laughs. So, but in fairness, that last sentence did leave me a little intrigued. Should we do 1 more chapter or leave it there? We can do 1 more, no more, or 0. Those are the options. Either way, we're not reading tomorrow. Okay, we're taking the day off tomorrow. Easy's doing a 24-hour stream anyway. Fucking let him have that. I'm not. Again, I really don't like overlap. However, it seems at this point I assume that just means I just got here. More? Okay, we can do 1 more. Okay. Listen, I really hate me and Easy overlapping on streams, but it seems like Easy is hellbent on doing it. So at this point, I don't even care. Okay, if he schedules a stream, I'll go live anyway. I don't give a shit. Fuck it. You know what? At this point, it seems like he wants to do it. So let's just overlap at this point. It seems like he enjoys it. So fuck it. We'll just do that. Okay. By the way, Easy went off the stream. What? What do you mean? Is the stream not live anymore? He'll be... Wait, does it... It says he'll be back in 2 hours? Stream is live. He's not there. It's just a countdown. Wow. Okay, fine. We'll do 1 more chapter, and then we're calling it. Okay. We'll do 1 more chapter, and then we're calling it. Because then I need to edit that video, and then I'm going to sleep. Lol, 24 hours Lord of the Mystery stream would be crazy. Okay, listen. 30 minutes, 13 episodes. That's 6.5 hours. Even after the whole season came out, what the fuck would I do for 24 hours? Walk me through, okay? Someone walk me through the logic. Digesting the content creator potion, actually. Like, walk me through, okay? What the fuck would I do for the rest of the time? There's like 17 hours left. What am I doing? You think I'm reading for 17 hours? Like, I mean, what the fuck? Stall. You want me to stall for 17 hours? That's what you want to... You want to see that, Roy? Easy could probably do it. He's a better man than me, then I can't do it. Are they releasing the whole season in one? No. They're going to release 2 episodes tomorrow, Wes. I was just saying, even once the whole season is out, what the fuck do you want me to do for 24 hours? Merlin, dance. Hold on. How long would you like me to dance for, Merlin? I will be honest with you. My cardio is not the best, okay? I can dance for a solid like 6 minutes. Best I can give you. And then it's done. And then at that point I'm... Chat. What are we doing? Yeah, this is what you're going to get for the next half an hour, okay? Cooked. So, like, what the fuck? Ramiro, shut the fuck up. Hat Trick Inn on Sherwood Burrows, 22 Hope Street. Due for 6 minutes. We will see what happens next. I love how Merlin is like, listen, bro. Listen. One step at a time, okay? Do what you can. We'll worry about the rest later. Hat Trick Inn on Sherwood Burrows, 22 Hope Street. Just as the attendant on the front desk was about to drink some water, she saw a lady walk in. The lady was 1.65 meters tall, with a light colored dress. She held a dark brown leather suitcase as she unhurriedly walked in. A lady with extraordinary disposition. How I wish I could see what she looks like without her glasses. As the female attendant sized her up, she then heard the lady say, "One night, a single room. Dance, entertain us." Am I a what the fuck do you think I am, Nightwalker? What the fuck do you mean entertain us? What do you think is happening here? Bro, we're gonna play video games for 17 hours, okay? That's what we can do. I'm gonna switch between Witcher 3, Minecraft. We might download a Yakuza game because I keep making Yakuza references, so I feel like it'd be based. And then we can play chess occasionally. That's it, okay? Clown, fuck you. Luvion, try to draw your own Lord of the Mysteries artwork. Yeah, trust me, Luvion, no one wants to see that, okay? No one on all of the earth, 8 billion people, not one of them wants to see that. Bloodborne playthrough. We could do that. I could do that. I would happily do that. Wuthering Waves. I've never played it. I mean, like, I played like an hour. I've never really played it. 2 soli, 8 pence. The attendant gave her room rate for the day and directly asked, "Do you have any identification documents?" She wasn't too adamant about registering her identity because the inn had no means of confirming the authenticity of the documents. Well, I guess I'm not one of them because I do. Luvion, trust me, you don't. Yes, the lady put down her suitcase and took out some documents from her bag. Margaret Taylor, the attendant muttered. She then gave her a key, room 2012. Thank you, the lady said, carrying her suitcase. At that moment, an attendant with a red vest came over and bowed. "How may I help you?" He cast his gaze on the dark blue suitcase. The lady curled her lips. "There's no need. It's very light." With that said, she didn't stop as she walked up the stairs to enter room 2012. Only after she closed the door and put down the suitcase did she raise her hand to her chest, letting out a long sigh of relief. Why do I feel like a psychotic murderer? Probably because you're walking around with a fucking head, Fours. What did you think this was? Recite Praise the Fool for 12 hours straight. Bro, do you think I'm Mr. Beast from 2015? Merlin, what are you doing to me, bro? She was none other than the disguised Fours, and there was nothing in her suitcase except Mr. X's head. The two attendants from before probably would have guessed that a fashionable lady didn't have any clothes, facial products, or makeup in her suitcase, but a cracked, bloody head. Force calmed her feelings as she picked up and opened the suitcase. She discovered as she observed the corridor and saw no one walking through. She walked out and headed for room 2016 and rapped the wooden door. Her teacher, Dorian Gray, was living in the same room he previously used. After sensing someone sizing her up through the peephole, Forrest heard the doorknob twist. Dorian Gray was dressed in a black suit with very broad shoulders. Has this guy been working out? Why is he so buff at his old age? No one noticed you, right? Following that, he closed the door. No, I used a fake identity, Forrest said. The only problem was that... However, Forrest had heard that there were places... hold on, for fuck's sakes. As a Beyondrian backland, it was necessary to have a few fake identification documents. Furthermore, she had Gio's help in such matters. The only problem was that it was ultimately a fake identity that wouldn't hold up to police scrutiny. However, Forrest had heard that there were places where real identity documents could be obtained. Furthermore, there were documents that the police had a record of, with the photos swapped, of course. The price was much more expensive, however. I assume this is the kind that Klein got this time, because he needs to be able to stand up to, like, scrutiny. However, Dorian nodded and silently exhaled. As he got Forrest to sit, he brought a chair over and said, "You mentioned that someone is paying to find the direct descendants of the Abraham family? And the goal is to find information on Mr. Dorr?" "Yes, teacher. I don't know much about the family, so I thought about asking if you knew anything." She hit 2 points: the Beyonder Gathering, being called the Tarot Gathering, and that she long knew that her teacher was a member of the Abraham family. Dorian sat down and asked, "Who was the one asking?" "I'm not sure. I can only confirm that she was a woman. She concealed her appearance. She seemed very powerful and must have a strong backing." Forrest described Ma'am Hermit. What she didn't say was that this person had close ties with Queen Mystic. Dorian Gray pondered for a few seconds. "I don't know much either. All I know is that Mr. Dorr is the ancestor of the Abraham family. He vanished during the War of the Four Emperors. You can try using this piece of information to get some of the bounty." Mr. Dorr is an Abraham family ancestor? Mr. Dorr, who made the Abraham family suffer the curse of the full moon, is an ancestor? Having learned of some of the problems of the Abraham family from the Fool, she couldn't help but she couldn't help but believe that the cause of all of this was the bloodline. "Does Mr. Dorr not know the consequences of his actions?" Forrest muttered silently. Dorian Gray noticed his student's reaction and asked, "Is there a problem?" I just don't understand. It's been more than 1,000 years. So apart from the Abraham family direct descendants who wish to gather information on Mr. Dorr, and why? What do you think happened to Mr. Dorr? Okay. So, that's a good question. So Mr. Dorr is a sequence 1. He is an angel. He is unbelievably strong. The only two things that would stand atop him would be a god or a king of angel. So it's after knowing problems, Force couldn't help but cause all of them. So, and Mr. Dorr is clearly still alive because he's still talking. So it seems like he was. Why can't he be King of Angels? I mean, I guess he technically could be a King of Angels, but we just don't know that he was. And all of the Kings of Angels were like All of the kings of angels were like old, you know, like they were from the city of silver or some shit. So I don't know. How long do you think you can finish this volume? I assume you're asking when do you think I can finish this volume? I think it ends in about 9:30, right? So call it 150 chapters or so. Normally, without the Donghua, it would be about 10 days. With the Donghua, we'll give it an extra 50%. We'll call it 2 weeks. We'll say 15 days or so. So July 10th or so, something like that. So someone who is so he's alive, and either a god or a king of angels banished him or like locked him in a prison, basically. I want to say banished because it feels like he's on another fucking plane of existence or some bullshit. But like maybe he's just like kind of in a prison of made for him. I mean, I don't know. I guess it has to be some really fucked shit, because if he's off the apprentice path or he's a traveler, he can use the spirit world. Someone closed Mr. Door. Merlin, that is really clever. That is really, really clever. Because he can use the spirit world to travel, and he's still stuck. So he's got to be trapped in some fifth dimensional fucking space and time don't exist Ouroboros bullshit. You know, I don't know. Yeah, that's all. Like someone locked him away in a prison, basically, or I don't know, something approximating. I don't fucking know. What else would they do with this fucking guy, right? He can use the spirit world. He can use the spirit world to travel. How do you trap something like that? I don't fucking know. Perhaps they're trying to find Mr. Door. Alright, Queen Mystic is Roselle's daughter, and Mr. Door appeared in Roselle's diary. Therefore, the Queen Mystic is trying to find Mr. Door to find the truth of the past. That's normal. However, Mr. Door vanished in the War of the Four Emperors more than 1,000 years before Emperor Roselle's era. How did they manage to contact each other? Could it be that Roselle could also hear the full moon ravings? I remember the Mr. Fool making a remark that Mr. Door might call out for help. If that's the case, it's really... As an author, Forbes was at a loss for words to describe her feelings. Dorian revealed a wry smile. Certainly, I'm also puzzled about this problem. Remember to tell me if you find the answer. Teacher, why did you suddenly come to Backland? I happen to have some matters that need me to be in Backland. I have also decided to check on your digestion process. In fact, he had already been alarmed by Forbes' letter. He couldn't believe that anyone in the world would still be talking about Mr. Door. One had to know that even the Abraham family had given up such attempts. He was the only one who kept at it, teaching students on his own accord. This made him recall a prophecy that was passed around the family. When the Abrahams were increasingly approaching their destruction. What does that mean? Force. You know what? Kill them all. Force. Kill your teacher. Fuck it. Just end the family right here. Make the prophecy come true. Teacher, you thought you could avoid the prophecy, but in reality, I am the bringer of the prophecy. When he connected the two matters together, he rushed over to Backland to confirm his student's situation. He wished that she could advance as soon as possible, leaving some hope for the family. I had grasped the various astrological knowledge, Forrest replied. Due to her lack of money, she hadn't bought a high-quality crystal ball needed by an astrologer. To do not continue on this topic, Forrest began asking Dorian Gray about the acting principle of the astrologer, obtaining advice such as astrology isn't all-powerful. It's the literal same thing as like seer, as divination isn't all-powerful. Towards the end, Forrest glanced at the dark brown suitcase beside her and said, Teacher, there's one more thing. What is it? Dorian said. After knowing that Louis Wayne betrayed the organization, inflicting a great deal of harm upon you, I've always had the thought of finding him and exacting revenge for all of you. Give up that thought. Even if you have Lemano's travel, you are no match for him, much less to be able to kill him. I'm very glad that you have such a thought, but there's no need to take such risks. I definitely can't do it alone, Forrest mumbled. I got to know a very powerful bounty hunter. I spent about 10,000 pounds to seek his help. Bitch, no you didn't. See, okay, really. I said she should kill her teacher. She's fleecing her teacher. Is that much better? Really, which hurts his heart more? If I am a teacher and I love my students and I give them my best and I do all I can for them, and then one of them is like, and then one of them kills me. Well, I'm fucking dead, bro. I don't feel anything. I'm fucking dead. Whatever. But one of my dear students fleeces me. They ordain to pull one over on me. Which is worse? Really? Just off with his head. Simple. You know? Clean. No harm. Okay, a little harm. You know, because he fucking dies. But really, he bears no hard feelings because he's fucking dead. Hear me out. Maybe? A little bit. She wasn't able to estimate the cost of the job, so she used the price that Miss Audrey paid previously when entrusting him to kill the Intis ambassador. That might be a cheat. Louis Wayne is likely a traveler and has the support of the Aurora Order. Dorian didn't hold any hope of the bounty hunter being Louis Wayne's match when he heard his students say, "He has already succeeded." Dorian coughed on his saliva as he broke out into a fit of coughs. He dropped the teacup on the ground, but it bounced up like magic, firmly landing on the coffee table. I don't want to hear you out, bro. Come on, I'm just saying. She's gonna fleece her teacher, just off with his head at that point. He has given me Louis Wayne's head. Forrest held up the dark brown suitcase and opened it. Taking out the spherical object wrapped in newspapers, bro is bamboozled. With the newspapers unfolded bit by bit, Dorian saw the face that he would never forget. The smug smile on Louis Wayne's face back when he attacked the Abraham family headquarters was gone. His face was covered in cracks, as though it had been glued together piece by piece. It was gruesome, filled with pain and despair. As an astrologer, Dorian Gray's intuition told him that it was undoubtedly Louis Wayne. Good. Very good. Who was this bounty hunter? I can't imagine Backland having such a powerful bounty hunter. Gehrman Sparrow, Forrest replied. Fuck, that is so cool. I want to know what Dorian gets from her. God damn it. That is so cool. I want to know what Forrest gets. I want to know what Forrest gets, but I don't want to read anymore. Oh, fuck, boys. Half of a chapter. Wes, what are you doing to me? Wes, what are you doing? One more? What do you think, Arthur? Do we stop here? Okay, no, Arthur already said one more. Fuck it. Okay, fine. Fuck it. Fuck it. We're not reading tomorrow anyway. Let's just balls to the wall. Let's just do one more. Fuck it. Fine. Well, fine. No, fine. We'll just read. We'll just read. Let's go. Don't stop. I just got here. Okay, fine. Last one. Last one. Okay. We'll do as many as I originally planned. I didn't plan on something coming out tonight, though. Okay? Fuck it. I'll be fine with one since I just got here. You said that last chapter, Wes. I feel like you're fleecing me, bro. I feel like I'm getting fleeced here. What the fuck? I mean, it's fine. Don't get me wrong. I like being lied to. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying, you know. 790 for a round number. No, okay. We're not doing all that. Gehrman. Dorian felt the vessels on his forehead pulse. Situated in Pritz Harbor, he inevitably learned of the various news at sea. In recent news, he had heard it from different channels about Gearmen, from killing Steel Mavetti to injuring to Vice Admiral Ailment Tracy, to successfully hunting Admiral of Blood Senor. He left the sea and came to Backland? Oh, he sure is insane. It's best that you minimize your communication with that bounty hunter, Dorian said. Always ends up longer than a planned one. Haha, don't. Yeah, that's how it goes, Livion. That's how it goes. He's bound to get into big trouble one day, and it wouldn't take long for that to happen. Yes, teacher. Dorian composed himself once again and looked at his former student and current enemy, Lewis Wayne. However, this traveler could no longer speak. He didn't even have an iota of spirituality left. You mentioned paying £10,000 for the job? He wasn't aware of Force's financial situation. We gotta get through the book somehow. I'm through like basically 800 chapters in 3 months. Trust me. Getting through this novel is not a concern. We will finish this, okay? He wasn't aware of Force's financial situation other than knowing that a student was a best-selling author who earned quite a bit of royalties. Furthermore, she seemed to be doing quite well in Beyonder circles. Therefore, it wasn't surprising or unacceptable that she could save up £10,000. Yes, it was. She is broke as fuck. She has like £300 to her name. She is... If a poor person lost all of their money, they would be richer than Force, okay? Come on. She broke, homie. Let's finish volume 4 today. You think I can read 150 chapters? Okay, I know you're just gaslighting me, but fuck, it still works. It's crazy. Forrest fidgeted, feeling a slight guilty conscience as she said, "Is it too expensive?" Dorian shook his head. "It's so cheap that I suspect Gearman has other motives." Frankly, and there were other conditions, including everything on Lewis Wayne's personal belongings, as well as the additional requirement of providing help. Also, I promise that if he's in need of cash for the future, I'll compensate him another £3,000. That's reasonable, but just barely. Usually assassinating Lewis Wayne, who has the Aurora Order behind him, would cost at least £30. You see? This is why I can't keep reading. Killing Lewis Wayne, who has the Aurora Order behind him, would cost £30. Oh, God. Usually, assassinating Lewis Wayne, who has the Aurora Order backing him, would cost at least £30,000. And if there are other situations, the price would be even higher. Damn, Lewis is worthless. Back then, Mr. World had used demigod powers recorded in Leymano's travel. He probably encountered something else, an Aurora Order saint? Having had an edified experience exerted on her by the Tarot Club, Force wasn't unfamiliar with the Aurora Order structure. She didn't hide her frown and said, "From the looks of it, it is indeed a little abnormal. Perhaps he's in desperate need of cash?" Perhaps he cares more about Lewis Wayne's Beyonder characteristic. To the Beyonder of other pathways, it can be forged into a rather useful mystical item, as long as he finds a suitable artisan. Romero isn't here right now. Romero was here. He might not be here right now, but he was here not too long ago. Oh, fuck me. Never mind. He's here. Perhaps he has long targeted Lewis Wayne, and he was just using the information you provided to carry out the assassination while getting an additional bonus. I'm always watching. Truly. Dorian paused for 2 seconds. Don't worry. There's no need to worry about that. Just stay away from him in the future. Perhaps he has long targeted Louis Wayne, and he was just using the information you provided to carry out the assassination while getting an additional bonus. Dorian didn't continue on the topic as he took out a fist-sized pure crystal ball. It's made of star crystal, and it can effectively raise your astromancy. The light shone in from outside as resplendent waves surfaced on the crystal ball. Without waiting for Forrest to reject, Dorian chuckled. Louis Wayne is my enemy. The payment I used to get rid of him should be mine. I don't have that much cash on me, but I can only use some items to deduct from the payment. No, there's no need. Forrest shook her head, partially genuinely, but partially in contradiction to her will. It was genuine because she only wanted to seek revenge for her teacher back when she thought getting rid of Louis Wayne without considering the possible rewards she could later receive. It was in contradiction to her will because she couldn't reject the reward. Dorian said with a stern expression, "Do you wish for me to be ashamed and uneasy? Don't worry, I still have quite a bit of wealth." I love how he's like, damn, I can't afford 10 grand right now, but I have quite a bit of money. No, you don't, you broke a bitch. God, your family's fallen off. You used to be up there with the Einhorns and the Saurons and the Augustuses. Oof. Big oof. Forge nodded in response. All right then. Also, I brought the scribe potion formula. You can gather the corresponding ingredients as you digest the astrologer potion. I'll prepare one of the main ingredients for you, the brain of an Asman. You'll have to rely on yourself for the rest. An Asman was said to be a monster that existed in ancient times. It looked like an unprotected human brain that could fill a room. Not only could it create terrifying illusions, but it could also make attackers die from their own attacks. Uno reverse looking ass. As he spoke, Dorian took out a yellowish-brown goatskin and passed it to Fours, too broke to give others ingredients. Yeah, he's like, oh, I'll give you this one ingredient that no one can find because it's an ancient creature. But like, you know, the regular stuff that like everyone can get their hands on, like you could just go to a regular Beyonder meeting and get? Couldn't find any of those. Good luck. Bro, what kind of side quest bullshit ass is this? I'm going to read for a bit after this. I'm at 967. Jesus Christ. Wes, you and I were like about the same not too long ago. Slow down, brother. Damn. As he spoke, Dorian took out a yellowish-brown goatskin and passed it to Fours. Fours received it in gratitude and scanned the list of main ingredients. I'm not reading all that. I hope I can gather the remaining ingredients before I finish digesting the astrologer potion. Just as Fours rolled up the goatskin, she saw Dorian take out a pure golden box from his suitcase. After removing the wall of spirituality, Dorian opened the box and said, "Without the gold enclosing it, the brain of an Asman will constantly affect you, causing you to hallucinate and lose your mental faculties." Got a part-time job that gives me a decent amount of time to read. In the squarish box was a blob of grayish-white, translucent, wrinkled objects. It was about a fifth the size of Louis Wayne's head. As expected of a family with a long history, Forrest thanked him once again. Dorian didn't stop and instead gave an excuse for Forrest to stay back. He set up a ritual and summoned the void creature, Malmuth, who enjoyed music. He then took out 2 documents. He had prepared 3 items for Forrest when he received the shocking news regarding Mr. Dorr. These are 2 excellent properties in Backland. One is in Helstonborough and the other is in Sherwood. They're in excellent locations and should have a total valuation of £6,500. The amount you can sell them for will be yours, Dorian said with a smile. Okay. Dorian, perhaps I judged you too harshly. Although the Abraham family was in a state of decline, as a former Angel family, it still had quite a bit of resources, including land, tree farms, properties, manors, and mines. However, Dorian only had control of a few, with the remainder belonging to various smaller families. The place I'm renting currently costs £2,500 and is in an okay district in an average location. What the teacher gave me today does add up to £10,000. Forrest couldn't help but sigh. In the Holy Wind Cathedral, a deep blue officiant Randall Valentin... Deep blue officiant Randall Valentinus. Best Buy? Oh shit, I love Best Buy, Wes. I mean, the truth of the matter is, over the years, everything has just become Amazon. But man, as a kid, I used to love going there. It was so cool. He looked at the mandated Punisher Deacon and said, "Any findings?" The new Backland Archbishop was a middle-aged man with a domineering demeanor. The mandated Punisher Deacon, standing before his desk, was a thin, middle-aged man. He didn't stand out, but there was an anchor tattoo on his neck. Near Eminence, we've already caught some of the members who participated in the gathering. However, they have no idea who the rest are, much less know of the person who assassinated Mr. X. I do buy things every now and then, like PC parts. Yeah, I'm sure you get an employee discount. I'm sure. Hopefully, hopefully, man can hope. Got a 7800 XT from him. Nice. Man, I still... Like, I love my computer, don't get me wrong, but man, I bought it during COVID. That shit was double what it should have been. I paid 1,000 Canadian for a 3070. Fuck. Even, like, that was like 150% of MSRP. I didn't mind it back then because I was so excited to make it, but fuck, it was so expensive back then. Where am I? According to the description, the assailant was about 1.6 meters tall and likely a female. We can't rule out the possibility that it's a short man. I had a 3060 which performed well until I upgraded. Yeah, so like all graphic cards were basically impossible to find during the pandemic. Like I'm sure like anyone who knows about PCs just knows like everything was fucking impossible to find. And there was one and so I was looking for a 3070 because it was like the perfect like piece to my build, and it was like I couldn't find one. And eventually I just gave up and I found a 3060 Ti that was 5 hours away from here. I had to drive, and it came into stock to like there's a store called Canada Computers. They would get like shipments like, okay, they got one 3060 and one 3060 Ti in one store somewhere in fucking so you just check their website every day to see whatever drops. So I finished work because that time I was in high school, so I was working part-time. And I think it was summer, so like I was still working part time, but like I had time, and it was like I worked from like 7 a.m. to like 11 a.m. Like I finished at 11, and I checked my phone when I got off work, and it said there was a 3060 Ti 5 hours away. I was like, fine, fuck it. You know what? Can't get a 3070. Fine, whatever. I'll go with a 3060 Ti. I'm driving there, and like I drive 4 hours. I'm like an hour away, and I called them because I stopped to just stretch my legs a bit, and I go, hey, any chance you guys have a 3070? And the guy goes, no. And I was like, fuck, okay. I was like, you still have the 3060 Ti on hold? He was like, yeah, sure. Great, okay. So whatever. So I keep driving, whatever, no problem. I was like 17. So I mean, like, I was like, dude, fuck it. Like, I really want this. I don't give a fuck, right? I'm like, whatever. And plus, just driving. I love driving, so I don't really mind it. And then like an hour away, so I called them. They say they don't have a 3070. Okay, fine. Fuck it. I'll just get the 3060 Ti. My brother and I reach, and there's a 3070 on the shelf. And I was like, yo, I just called you. What the fuck? And he goes, oh yeah. When you called, there was a guy in store buying it, but his card declined. He just left to get another card from home. And I go, is it on hold? And he goes, no. I go, okay. I want that one. And then I got a 3070. And that's the story how I got my 3070. Sorry. That was my yeah, that dude would be so ticked, but get fucked, loser. Should have brought a card that was working. As we funny thing, my card actually did not work because it was such a big transaction. My credit card company thought it was fraud. So like I used it and it declined, and they like put it on hold, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then thankfully I had like my I had a secondary credit card that did work, and I was like, Jesus Christ, if it fucking didn't work, I would have killed myself. Randall held back his anger and said, what do you plan on doing next? We are temporarily unable to know who Mr. X invited to the gathering, and the 1.6 meter tall women are common in Intes, or are common. Our plan is to relax our stance on the surface as we target a few suspicious targets and converge on those and we've caught into informants. Without us exerting any danger, those bunch of lunatics from the Aurora Order will definitely seek out the murderer themselves to exact revenge. They'll likely do a carpet search, and this way, not only will we find the assassin, we'll find more clues of the Aurora Order. I should have given him a Zoolander look. I didn't see the guy, thankfully. But yeah, I would have hit him though. Randall nodded in thought. Roy, when taking action, remember to apply for a Grade 1 sealed artifact. The situation is clear that Aurora Order has at least a Saint in Backland, and the assassin's strength is greater than a typical Sequence 5 Beyonder. They similarly have a demigod backing them. Yes, Your Eminence. And Dwayne, you often exceed my expectations. It hasn't taken long for you to finish studying the revelation of the Evernight Book of Wisdom. Inside St. Samuel Cathedral, Bishop Electra closed the Bible in his hand and smiled at the pious tycoon. This is expected of a believer, Klein laughed. Next up is the study of the Letter of the Saints? Yes. Which saint do you wish to begin with? Electra asked. Let's do St. Samuel then, Klein chuckled. Electra wasn't surprised, as he seriously introduced. St. Samuel was a Backland archbishop during the 4th epoch of the Truanst Empire. He greatly contributed to the spreading of the goddess's faith and entered her divine kingdom before dying and becoming an angel. As he spoke, he flipped to the corresponding letter of the saints. At this moment, Klein's spiritual perception was triggered. He felt a deep sense of evil and diabolical will spread above him. Following that, a cold and quiet feeling extended from the underground, leveling everything and restoring the cathedral to its former tranquility. The bishop snapped out of a daze and said to Dwayne, who didn't seem to notice anything, "Sorry, I just recalled something." All right. Okay, listen. We did as many as I said I was going to, okay? We did 7 chapters in 2 hours, and we even took like 15-20 minutes to react to the trailer. So, or not the trailer, but the outro. Okay. So, we're going to leave it there, y'all. Thanks everyone for coming. If you're new here, I think Merlin is new. I don't think I've seen you before, Merlin. Maybe you've popped by once or twice. But if you're new, consider joining our Discord. Link in the description. That's it, y'all. I will see you guys not tomorrow. We're taking the day off tomorrow. We're gonna take the day off tomorrow just to build up a little time and stuff. And then I'll still hopefully see you guys tomorrow because Easy and I talk tomorrow. I won't be streaming that, but Easy usually streams that. Now I used to watch but got busy. Oh, I see. Sorry, I apologize. I won't be streaming that, but Easy usually streams that. So feel free to check that out on his stream or pop by the Discord. We'll be doing it on a channel anyway. That's it, y'all. Have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye, guys.